In our main event tonight, the Mexican monolith Warlord Santos will defend the King of Legends title at Coliseum Games against one of these three men, Superstar Billy Graham, Rikishi Fatu, or Bruiser Brody. Who's going to Coliseum Games? Let's find out.
Tonight's Rage main event, a triple threat match, one fall, with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, from the island of Samoa, weighing 325 pounds, Rikishi Fatu.
Let's break this down, because we got three big-time stars, and any of them could be the #1 contender for the King of Legends belt. But who's most likely? And is Rikishi a likely winner? I'll tell you, Brody has a big edge, but Superstar Billy Graham is a threat to win as well. Rikishi has a shot, but the best strategy is for him to keep Brody down on the mat.
That's actually the best strategy for both of them, Christy. If they've got to keep Brody out of the loop and keep it between Rikishi and Graham if either one of them wants to have a chance to win.
His opponent, from Paradise Valley, Arizona, weighing 285 pounds, Superstar Billy Graham.
The Superstar, engaging in a little singles action this evening, setting aside his tag team partnership with Jesse the Body Ventura for an opportunity to become the King of Legends champion, and Superstar Billy Graham firmly believes that King of Legends title would look a lot better around his waist than that of Warlord Santos. And I don't know, I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off. Santos is too hot. No matter which one of them wins, they are all going to face a very tough situation at Coliseum Games against the Mexican monolith. Now, if we look at it, by the number of gold possessions, well, Superstar Billy Graham is a multi-time former champion here in RWL, so is Bruiser Brody. Rikishi Fatu, however, has never held any single or tag team title, neither single or as a tag team with his partner Samoa Joe.
And, from Santa Fe, New Mexico, weighing 312 pounds, Bruiser Brody.
Brody made his return recently after a reasonably long chunk of time away and won his first match in his return. And now going into this #1 Contenders match for the King of Legends title against Warlord Santos and facing Rikishi Fatu and Superstar Billy Graham in a match with no rules, no countouts. This match definitely favors Bruiser Brody.
Let's not write off Graham or Rikishi too quick though. Remember that they could maybe work together to keep Brody under some kind of control and maybe try to keep the match to just themselves as potential winners.
Possible, but not easy. Well, which of these talented individuals is going to face Warlord Santos for the King of Legends title? One of these three gentlemen is going to do it. Let's find out which one. As referee Charles Lucero sounds the bell, Graham immediately attacked by Rikishi Fatu, an elbow to the face. Bruiser Brody taking his time, just letting them work themselves to death. Graham catches the kick to the midsection from Brody, a jab, a left. Brody puts on the brakes, delivers a knee to the midsection. Gouges the face of Superstar Graham. Tags him with a hard right hand, goes behind on him in a rear waist lock, escorts him towards the corner. But he is resisting. Superstar Graham head first into the turnbuckle. Brody turning his attention to Rikishi Fatu. Rikishi with the upper hand and a vertical suplex. Rikishi goes to work on Brody. There's a headbutt taking him down. Superstar Graham just coming out of the corner, and he is provoked. Rikishi Fatu locked up by Graham, goes behind on him. Rear suplex. Superstar Billy Graham gathers up Rikishi. Rikishi counters with a dragon screw. Bruiser Brody still laid out from his exchange with Rikishi Fatu. Rikishi gathers up Superstar Billy Graham. Superstar Graham counters into a back body drop, piling right on top of Bruiser Brody. Brody didn't appreciate that one bit. A couple of hard shots, a left to the midsection, a stomp to the midsection, and a kick to the chest. Graham rolls out. He don't want no more. Belly to belly suplex to Rikishi Fatu. Talk about power on Bruiser Brody. 350 pounds almost effortlessly. Brody rounds up Rikishi for 2. Graham still on the outside. No countouts in a triple threat match, no disqualifications. So the referee does not need to count. Rikishi for 2. Putting the boots to Bruiser Brody as Graham makes his way back inside the ring. Superstar still hasn't picked up a weapon yet. Don't know why. Kick to the midsection to Rikishi from Brody. Brody countered. Graham rounded up by Rikishi for 2. He quickly counters. Rikishi for 2 backs off quick. Quick takedown from Superstar Billy Graham. Rikishi for 2 laid out. Bruiser Brody catching a chop across the chest and a kick right to the face from Superstar Graham. Rikishi for 2 rolls to the outside as Graham puts the boots to Bruiser Brody. Rikishi for 2 still laid out. Rear chin lock from Superstar Graham on Brody. Brody finding his way out, sweeps the leg, takes Graham down to the canvas. Hard right from Brody to Graham. Graham rounded up over the shoulders in a fireman's carry. Brody takes him to the corner, head first into the turnbuckle, down into the corner goes Superstar Graham. And Brody putting the boots. But Graham counters, slams Brody face first into the canvas. Rikishi for 2 finally makes his way back inside. A dragon screw from Brody. Rikishi for 2 engaging in a little dancing while he waits for an opportunity. Brody locks it up with Rikishi. Up over the shoulders goes Bruiser Brody. Superstar Graham working himself into a lather. Head first into the turnbuckle goes Brody. Superstar Graham gets a hold of Rikishi for 2. Places him up against the ropes. Turns him around and starts delivering hard forearms to Rikishi's back while dribbling him off the ropes. Bruiser Brody just waiting his turn. Graham with a wrist clutch, knee to the face to Rikishi, and here's a pin attempt, but Brody right there to break it up. A chop across the chest from Superstar Graham to Bruiser Brody. Brody rounded up over the shoulder of Superstar Graham, escorted towards the far left corner, head first into the turnbuckle, down goes Brody. Graham turns his attention to Rikishi, drops him face first into the turnbuckle, gets a hold of him, there's a kick to the midsection. And a double arm suplex from Superstar Billy Graham. Graham winds up the arm on Brody, not once but twice. Rikishi for 2 rolls to the outside. Graham from behind on Brody, places him up against the ropes, gets pitched over the top rope out onto the floor. Brody takes himself to the top turnbuckle. Superstar Graham making his way to a standing position. Rikishi for 2 likewise. Double X handle does not find the mark. Bruiser Brody misses the distance by a couple of inches. Gets a hold of Graham, rounds him up, and oh man, just slams him on the floor and now stamping his boot into the chest of Superstar Graham. Rikishi for 2. Whipped to the corner by Brody. Brody delivering knees to the midsection of Rikishi for 2. And now Brody countered by Rikishi for 2. Slam fast face first into the canvas. Superstar Graham taking his time about getting back in there. Rikishi for 2 with a running power slam on Brody, but Graham right there to break it up. Rikishi for 2 catches a slap across the chest from Superstar Graham. Graham rounds him up, has him up over the shoulder, hangs him up off the top rope. Down goes Rikishi for 2. Bruiser Brody attempted to be rounded up by Graham for a bear hug, but no good. A forearm does the trick, but takes Brody down to the canvas. Rikishi for 2 catches the chop across the face. A second, a left. Graham rounds him up. There's a backbreaker from Superstar Graham to Rikishi for 2. Again, Brody biding his time, waiting for a target. And the target is Superstar Graham. Graham rounds him up for a suplex. Rikishi for 2 moves in on Graham, locks him up, has him up. Oh, Samoan drop from Rikishi for 2. Fast and sudden. Brody with a shot to Rikishi for 2. Gets him by the throat. He's got him by the throat, and he is squeezing. Tongan death grip. Possible submission here. The referee checking it out. Superstar Graham on the outside, unable to do anything. Brody not releasing the hold. Takes him down. The bell is rung. That is it. Bruiser Brody will be facing Warlord Santos for the King of Legends title at Coliseum Games. Let's get the official time from Aria Mitchell.
Here's the time, 5 minutes and 47 seconds, and your winner, Bruiser Brody.
Now that it's over, I'll be completely honest. I figured it was either going to be Brody or Graham. I didn't think Rikishi for 2 stood much of a chance. But now it's going to be Bruiser Brody versus Warlord Santos for the King of Legends title. It most certainly is, Myron. Bruiser Brody choking out Rikishi for 2. with the Tongan death grip to get the win, while superstar Billy Graham laid outside the ring, barely conscious. What a main event, and what a great edition of RWL Rage we've had this week. But all good things must come to an end, as must this edition of RWL Rage. As always, we thank all of you for joining us and for supporting RWL as you do. It is appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, we will return on Saturday, the 24th, with RWL Snarl, with Wally Cardell, Johnny Bianco, and Hangman Take Lynch, and on the 27th, for Coliseum Games, the Supercard. For all of us here at RWL, I've been Don Hickson. Thank you, good night, and we'll see you next time at ringside.